Good morning, everybody. This is me, the Sultan of Science, Teacher Jeff. I'm here to bring you another exciting science activity. Today's lab is called Evaporation. Where did the water go? This experiment will last between 7 and 10 days. You'll also be gathering and recording data. Okay, so let's go over some of these materials. First of all, you're going to need two of the same size water bottles. You're going to need some rocks. Put the rocks in the bottles to make sure that they have some kind of weight and that they don't necessarily tip over. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go out and you're going to want to copy a couple rulers. I used inches, but I think it would be better for you to use centimeters. So what you do is you put with the lowest number, the 1, going down and the higher number going up, you tape it onto the bottle. Then you want to tape what sample it is. If it's sample A or sample B, you can even use numbers. It could be sample 1, sample 2. Okay, so I put my 2 sample so I can identify which is which. Okay, at that point, what you want to do is you want to add some water. Okay, so you add the water. You can use a funnel. I'm using this Pyrex glass because I measured out exactly 1/2 cup of water, which is about 4 ounces of water. So you want to put about 4 ounces or 1/2 cup of water in each container. Now, the thing is, one of these is going to go into where it's really warm and hot, and the other is going to go into a place where it's damp and sort of shady. Okay, so in order to keep the information, you will need to get some paper and create a book. I use 5 to 6 pieces. I use 6 pieces of paper to create my journal. I'm going to keep my information in my journal. This right here is my title page. It lets everybody know what I'm doing. It's my science journal lab, evaporation. Where did the water go? And then the next thing is really important because that is your table of contents. In your table of contents right here, this is where all the information goes on how you started the project. I put the date down. Date is very important of when we started. Water, how much water, what the water level is that we started off at. Right now it's at 2.5 or 2 1/4 inches. Use centimeters because there's not as much. There's more information if you use centimeters. There's such wide gaps between the inches. Then I put sample A, and I put exactly where I put it. I placed it in the window of the front room directly in sunlight. And then sample B, I placed on my bookshelf in my bedroom where it's a little bit more shady. Now, one of the other things that I want to remind you, when you place your water, you place your samples, don't place them directly by electronics or something that can vibrate, because that can change your outcome of your experiment. Okay, so now keeping the data. So every day you're going to wake up, or at the end of the day, you're going to write down the date, because that's important, because the date, the weather or the climate of that day could affect your experiment. Okay, and then you're going to write down, like I did, sample A or sample B, sample 1 or sample 2, and then you're going to measure it each day by looking at how much water has evaporated. Okay, and you're going to do that with each sample, and then you're going to write it down. And you're going to do it for about 5 to 10 days. Okay, and at the end, on your final analysis, you're going to take your samples, you're going to take where it started at and then where it ended at. And you're going to take that information and you're going to subtract it. And you're going to see which sample evaporated the most. Maybe you can make some comments or some information on that too. Okay, so let's take a look at the properties of water. Right here, I have a molecule of water. And we got to remember that water is 3 atoms that are bonded to form 1 molecule of water. Okay? The law of conservation of matter states that matter cannot be created nor destroyed, but changes from one state or one form to another. And atoms are constantly in flux, changing from one state to another. For example, these 3 atoms of gas came together and bonded together to form water. Now, in evaporation, the water isn't destroyed or lost, but it's the separation of the gas of those atoms back into the atmosphere where they wait to process the process of bonding and connecting again. So right here I have my molecule of water. As it starts to heat up, it starts to separate and it starts to go back into the atmosphere, back up to space, back up into the air. All right? So basically this is my project, or this is my experiment. Have fun.